Okay, so we are here at Namur, Echo Bravo November Mike, for a small hop, a VFR flight from Namur to Zwartberg, Echo Bravo Zulu Whiskey. This is part of the Ivao VFR tour in Belgium, and I'll go through the checklist, fly towards the Foxtrot Lima Oscar VOR, and then to our destination with this Piper 28. Okay, so let's get started. Our parking brake is set. We have sufficient fuel for the flight. We have fuel for a little more than 1 hour. And we should be flying for 20-25 minutes more or less, depending on the actual weather in the simulation. Battery master switch on. Audio panel is set. I'm only going to use the COM1. I'm going to switch on the avionics. Set my COM1 to 122.8 Unicom. Okay. And I'll put the Floren VOR Foxtrot Lima Oscar as my nav1. And we will be flying on a bearing of 031 degrees. So this is it. COM1 nav1 are set. I'm not going to use my COM2 nav2. I'm going to set my transponder on 7000, which is a standard VFR squawk in Belgium. Autopilot is completely disengaged, and I'm going to check the ATIS for a nearby airport, Brussels South. That says wind 220 degrees, 13 knots, visibility unlimited, fuel clouds at 1900. Okay, I have filed to fly at 2500. Minimum safe altitude is 2300, but we'll see during the flight if we can maintain that altitude. And we have 16 degrees outside, 16 degrees Celsius, and QNH of 1013. Let me just put that in here. So we are at an altitude of 600 feet. That's what the altimeter is showing. No, this is what the altimeter is. The altimeter was showing 7,000. Sorry. So this one is okay. Annunciator panel is working. Transponder is set. Radios and intercom off. Battery master switch as required. I'll leave it on because we'll have the engine start in a moment. Engine start checklist. Battery master switch is on. Beacon light on. Throttle closed. Carb heat cold. Mixture rich. Fuel pump on. We have fuel pressure in green. It's even more than green. Fuel pump off. Magnetos both. Throttle just a little open. And I'm going to prime 4 times. And then start the engine. Okay, propeller area is clear, nobody's around. Okay, so let's start the engine. Okay, that went fine. I'm going to set more or less 1000 RPM. And we see that oil pressure is rising and is almost in the green, so that's good. After engine start, intercom on. RPM 1000, oil pressure almost in the green, so that's good. Alternator on. Battery is charging, yes, and I'm going to log my startup time in touchdown. The internet seems to be a little slow today. Go Bravo November Mike with a Piper 28. I'm not going to say that I'm some kind of airline. I don't have a flight number. I'm just Piper 28. Registration Oscar Oscar Tango Delta Whiskey. Okay, startup time has been logged. Radio's on. And I see that I have made a small mistake. I should have 1 to 2 decimal 8, so that would be better. Transponder is a standby and is still on 7000. Suction, we have a little more than 4, so that's good. Annunciator panel is normal, autopilot is off. Flaps are up. Flight controls, I'm going to check if they are fully free and correct. I'm also going to check my rudder, something you wouldn't do without moving in real life, but this is just to calibrate my pedals. And DG and compass cross check, we have 242 degrees on the compass and we have almost the same. We have also 242 degrees on the directional gyro. Okay, so since the winds are 0 degrees 14 knots, I'm going to take off on runway 24. Runway 24, the threshold is right there, so I'm going to taxi over there. I'm going to set my altimeter, that's correct. I'm going to put on my nav lights, and I'm going to put on my landing light to use it as a taxi light. Okay. Taxi area is free, parking brake release. We are moving, brakes are working. Now I'm going to check my flight instruments. Turn coordinator is working as it should, directional gyro, compass and attitude indicator is stable. I'm going to continue my turn and then make a turn in the other direction to see if the opposite happens. Yes, that's good. Okay. I also should have announced my taxi on the radio. Okay, so we are at the runway. Let's set the parking brake. I'm not going to do the engine run-up because when I do that the aircraft continues to creep forward and I don't like it. Before takeoff checklist, flaps, takeoff position, elevator trim. Set for takeoff, autopilot is disengaged, carb heat is cold, mixture is rich, magnetos both. Primer is locked, fuel pump on. Engine instruments all looking good, flight instruments have been checked and our radios are set. So I'm just going to check that again. COM1, NAV1 and transponder all is okay. So I'm going to announce my takeoff. We have a right-hand circuit here in Namur. So what I'm going to do is just take off. Turn right to crosswind, turn right to downwind. There's nobody to see on final, no, I didn't hear anybody. And then continue climbing inbound our Foxtrot Lima November VOR. As you can see, it is a very short runway here. Okay. Altitude is good, heading is good. On the compass too, I'm going to switch on my strobe light, I'm going to switch on my transponder, I'm not going to use the pitot heat, and all annunciators are off. So, I'm ready to take off. I'm going to try to take off in ground effect. Power is available. Engine instruments in the green, and airspeed is alive. Get off the ground, okay, and now I'm going to try and speed up a little towards the end of the runway, and then I'm going to pull up. Okay. 500 feet above ground level, landing light off, fuel pump off, flaps up, and I'm going to make a right hand turn towards 330 degrees. highway. Almost at 2,000 feet. Okay. I'm going to turn to downwind now, heading 060, and we'll intercept our VOR radial that we've dialed in the nav1. Without overshooting the altitude, of course. Okay. Good. I'm going to start my timer. Should be flying for about 12 minutes before reaching the Floren VOR. I'll let the aircraft speed up a little. And then reduce thrust. And I'll turn towards heading 025. That's what I've calculated in order to reach a track of 031 degrees towards the Floren VOR, because wind will be coming from port side. I overshot my heading just a little, couple degrees. Okay, this is good. I'm going to turn on the autopilot. Altitude hold and heading hold, and I'm going to lean. This is it. Okay, very good. Good. All looking good. So let's enjoy the view. There's a little turbulence. We seem to be under the clouds. Okay, so who else is online? So this is us. Oscar Tango Delta Whiskey. We have Brussels approach that is online, but we are not in the airspace of that ATC. And this is our destination. Zwartberg, Echo Bravo Zulu Whiskey. On our way we will be passing along the Beauvais airport, Echo Bravo Bravo Echo. I might ask the better information for this airport. 220, 60 knots, visibility unlimited, fuel at 1800. UNH 1012, that's good. And after Floren we will be heading more or less 060 degrees towards Echo Bravo Zulu Whiskey, and we should pass overhead the Echo Bravo Zulu Hotel aerodrome, Hasselt, with just a grass airstrip. Okay, I'm just going to check GPS to see my ground speed. We have a ground speed of 134 knots, and I had calculated a ground speed of 137 knots, so my calculations were more or less correct based on the information that I found on the Belgo Control Ebzw website. Sorry. We are still on the good heading and track towards our Floren VOR, so that's good too. Almost 4 minutes underway. We need 12 minutes. We are 19 miles west or southwest of our VOR. So I'm contacted by Tango Foxtrot Foxtrot 709er. I hope this is the correct syntax to have a chat. Weird for the chat. This is not what I remembered of it. But hey. Okay, so I've reset our barometer. FSX changes the pressure settings from time to time. And I'm going to steer a couple of degrees to the left in order to continue tracking our VOR. The weird part is that the airship did not file a flight plan. I think on Ivao this is necessary. Don't know. Never fly airships. I need an engine. Six and a half minutes underway. Might want to check the manual to see how to chat. I don't remember. It's been a long time. Where can I find this? Nope. Okay, so apparently the chat is working. Well, I think we are still far away from the Zeppelin, so we should be fine. Okay, I'll steer some more degrees to the left. So there's an airstrip. If I take a look on the charts, this should be Echo Bravo Tango November, and we should have another airfield more over here. This is the Beauvechin Airport, Echo Bravo Bravo Echo. So this is good. We're getting back on track. More or less 8 minutes on our way. Still 4 minutes to go. We'll see that the flag, this little arrow, as soon as we pass the VOR, will change. Will be another flag, will be an arrow pointing down and not upwards, just to show that we are going from the VOR. So now the arrow showing up means that we go towards the VOR on this heading, and an arrow pointing down means that you come from the VOR. So I'm receiving an email from Twitch saying that I have a new follower. Thanks for following me, thanks for subscribing to my channel. I'm doing the best I can to fly quite frequently on Twitch. Everything depends on the workload, obviously, on the time I have that I can spend on flying online. Ten minutes underway. Within 2 minutes we should be reaching our Foxtrot Lima Oscar VOR, and then we will continue on a heading of 061, that's what I've calculated, in order to achieve a track of 060 degrees. But obviously the wind won't be the same as I have calculated it. No, I've calculated a wind of 235 degrees at 30 knots. Wind is 260 degrees at 27:28. I'm receiving another chat message. Is it visual on me? Okay. That's good for him. I don't have a visual on him. That's bad. So I don't see our Zeppelin. I'll try not to overshoot the VOR. So this is our first priority. This guy says if I look down I will see a big Zeppelin. I don't see a big Zeppelin. So we are at 12 minutes. We should be reaching the VOR any minute now. So I'm going to turn. This is the first thing I should do. Turn towards a heading of 061 degrees. Turn and start the timer again. Tune, I don't have to tune except this one. I'm going to put it on my new track 060. Turn time, tune, talk. I'm not going to talk, I don't have ATC. Fuel is still okay. I can't switch fuel tanks because that's not modeled in the Coronado Viper 28. Engine instruments all looking good and altitude is okay. So I'm going to have to go to the left hand side a little because I see that I'm slightly off track. We should be flying for 7 minutes before reaching our destination, and about halfway we should pass overhead a grass airstrip. So where's the Zeppelin? Where is that Zeppelin? I really don't see it. No, I really don't, sorry. This guy says you're right behind me. I'm sorry, I really don't see you. I do not have a visual. And this guy was going from our destination, I think. towards the Liège airport, so we should be going north to south. So we should be somewhere. Where are you? Okay, let's not waste our attention to that. Because then we are forgetting other things. We are almost on the track for our VOR, that's good. There's the airport I was talking to you about, I think. Just the Grass airstrip, I believe that's it. We are 3 minutes underway, so it's about halfway. Let me check the weather for our destination. Which airport am I going to take? I'm going to take the Maastricht airport. Echo Hotel Bravo Kilo, that's close enough. Check the weather. No. Echo Hotel Bravo Kilo, didn't I type it right? We have 220 degrees, 16 knots, gusting 26. Visibility unlimited, scattered 2300, broken 2900, 17 degrees and QNH 1012. Okay, that's good. We will be landing on runway 21 at our destination, an asphalt runway of 700 of almost 800 meters length on 23 meters of width. Okay. The airport should be coming in sight any minute now. We are almost on a good track. It's fine. The airport was 70 nautical miles from Floren. We are now at 10 nautical miles from Floren. This is the airport, the airstrip I was talking about. I really should get myself some scenery for FSX. Still no Zeppelin in sight. Something weird is happening. Maybe I don't see all other players, but then again, WebEye doesn't show a Zeppelin either, so that's a bad thing. Okay. So once we will arrive at our destination, what am I going to do? I'm not going to join the left-hand downwind. I'm going to come overhead, descend on the dead side of the runway, check if there's any traffic, then join the left-hand downwind for runway 21 while descending to circuit altitude. The airport is at 278 feet altitude, so I'm going to add up 1000 feet for the circuit altitude, which makes 1300 feet for the circuit that I'm going to fly, and then we'll land on runway 21 if all is good. I'm going to check the wind in the sim. Quite a lot of wind, 26 knots. We are nicely on track. I had calculated 061 degrees for heading in order to fly the 060 track, but as you can see, depending on the wind, we have to fly another heading. I'm going to see if my compass is still aligned with my directional gyro. No, it isn't. This also helps. Only align the directional gyro in straight and level flight, with no acceleration or deceleration, because your compass will be showing errors when accelerating, decelerating or turning. So what do we have there? That seems to be an airport. Would that be our airport? We're 7 minutes underway on the right track. This isn't shown on my chart, so I'm just going to check, and I should be right overhead. So I must have missed while talking to you guys. Okay, this is it. Good. I'm going to set my mixture to rich, Q&H. It is set. Autopilot goes off. I'm going to make a cruise descent. I'm going to make a slide turn to the right. Start to descend to maybe 2,000 feet for a starter. So now we are flying in with the correct heading for the 07 runway. I'm going to turn now and try to descend on the dead side of runway 21, the runway which we will be landing on. I set 2,000 feet. There's the airport. I overshot it a little one because I was talking to you guys. Obviously, when you're flying you need to be concentrated, especially when you're arriving at your destination, because then is when your workload will increase. I'm going to continue just a little on this heading. I'm going to say that here. No. Okay. I don't see anybody here on the airport. I didn't hear anybody on Unicom. So we should be good. We have 800 meters of runway. That should be enough for our purposes. We now have a headwind. So this means that we will be going very slowly. See, ground speed 95 knots. When coming to this airport we had a ground speed of what, 135? That's a lot more. Okay, where's the runway? Actually, shouldn't have done that because the wind is pushing me towards the runway, so I should have steered just a little more to the right. That way I would have been able to continue and see the runway. I don't have it in sight anymore. I'm going to turn crosswind. Runway 210 means 210 degrees more or less, minus 90 is 120. When flying 120, the wind will be coming almost from behind. Okay. This means that we will have a crosswind landing. A landing with very heavy crosswind. See if I can make a quick calculation of the crosswind component. I lost my altitude. No, I didn't lose my altitude. FSX is doing weird. So I'm trying to do several stuff at the same time. I'm not going to continue too far towards the other airports. Well, you know what? I'm not going to calculate the crosswind component right now. I'm going to descend. QNH is set, mixture is rich, and now descend. hard on it. Where is the runway? Where is my runway? There is the runway. Okay, quite far away. Wind is coming from behind and from port side, so I'll have to compensate for drift. Downwind checks. Are we on the right heading? Yes, we will be landing on the 2-1. We are flying more or less 030, confirmed by the compass. Circuit altitude 1300 with UNH set. Going to level off. We have brakes, engine instruments are looking good. Landing light on, fuel pump on, mixture rich, and I'll slow down to 85 knots. Where's my runway? There it is. And flaps 1. Okay, I'll turn base now. I don't want to lose the runway, so I'm going to make a left turn. 030 minus 90 means heading 300 more or less, and I have to compensate for the drift, so I'll fly to 90. Okay, I'm not going to descend just yet. They're far away. Wind 26026 knots, and we are landing on the 210, so our crosswind component will be 21 knots. That's bad because that's too much, but then again, this is the wind that we have here. This is not the wind on the ground. Okay, I'm going to slow down, carb heat on, flaps 2, 75 knots, and start my descent. Go to trim. I should be announcing tons of stuff. Downwind, base, final. But typing this on Unicom is just so hard when you are flying, especially when landing. So I always make sure that there's no one around. And if there's no one around, you just make one call. Okay, I'm not completely aligned with the runway, but that's also difficult when you come from base in Flight Simulator because you can't really see what's on the other side. I have to slow down a little more. So the wind is coming from the right, from the starboard side. So I will be crabbing towards the runway. I guess I'll have to add power just a little. I'm a little low. Then I will be applying left rudder and right aileron. Try and land on one wheel, the starboard side main wheel, then on the port side main wheel, and then on the nose wheel. Okay, so we are more or less aligned. Good speed. I'm going to use my rudder and my aileron and try and work just a little. Lose all my speed. That's good. Okay, this is how it's done, people. I think I'm going to vacate right here. Okay, set the parking brake. Take the checklist after landing checklist. Parking brake is set RPM 1000. Carb heat cooled. Transponder standby. Fuel pump off. Fuel pressure is still in the green. Landing light can remain on. Strobe lights off. Pitot heat off. We didn't use it. And flaps up. And I'll just taxi a little further. And I'll place myself into wind. Which means more or less 260 degrees. Okay, so I'm going to park here. Parking brake on. Shutdown checklist. Parking brake is on. RPM 1000. Music off, which means radio's off, intercom off, transponder off, and mixture idle cutoff. Magnetos off. Keys removed. I can't remove the keys in the sim, and all other switches off. And then I log my shutdown time in touchdown. I had one landing at Echo Bravo Zulu Whiskey and my flight. So does this look okay? This looks okay. Now let's go to the Ivao modus system. Let me see, where can I find this thing? This is the VFR tour for Belgium. This is the modus system. I'm going to file. This is correct, this is correct. Departure at 9 Zulu and 940. Yes, we had tailwind. This was our call sign. This looks okay. So I've completed another leg of the Belgium VFR tour on Ivao. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my Twitch account or to my YouTube account that you can find in my profile description. I'm also a real-world student pilot, and I post videos of my real flights on YouTube with ATC and intercom recorded. Most are in Dutch, but obviously the radio is in English, so even if you don't speak Dutch, you will be able to follow what we are doing. So thanks for watching, and bye bye.